me start recording. Okay. I hope my screen is visible and clear. Can you confirm? Are we connected? Okay. So let's get it started quickly. Let us do a small recap. So we were discussing about the runtime polymorphism, right? So it is one of the subcategories of polymorphism, and runtime polymorphism is also called as what the method overriding, right? So what does it really mean, method overriding? Okay, if you have two classes, okay, if you have two classes in a relationship, parent-child relationship, if the child class has the same method, okay, when you have a child class, and inside the child class, when you place a method which is same as the method that is placed in the parent class, and if both the methods are same, okay, then the topic is called as what? The concept is called as what? The method overriding in Java. Right? Very simple definition. Very simple definitions, and this is very much acceptable. So you can answer this in this way. Very easy, right? So you have a parent class and you have a child class, right? And the method inside the parent class as well as the method inside the child class are same. They are same. Name of the method is same. Return type is also same, and access modifier is also same. Then the child class method is called as overriding method, and the parent class method is called as what? The overridden method. Right? And we have seen some examples about the exact usage, and we have also discussed some rules on top of it, right? And I have given you some problem statements. And till Java 1.4, it is mandatory, it is a compulsion that the return type has to be same. The return type has to be same in the parent class method as well as in the child class method. But from Java 1.5, there we have got some flexibility. What kind of flexibility we got? You can have a different method, different return types, right? So this return type is object type, and this return type is string type. You can have that, but it will check if there is any relationship between these two return types. Of course, there is a direct relationship between these two return types, because object is the mother of all the classes. I mean, super class of all the classes, and string class. This string class is always a child class to this object. Okay? This should be a parent, and this should be a child class return type. If that is the case, valid. And when you do the opposite, when you place string here and when you place object here, instead of object, if you place string, and instead of string, if you place object, okay, it is like in the overloading, it is unacceptable. Why unacceptable? Always we have to ensure that the child class methods return type should be the child itself, not the parent. You cannot do the opposite. You will get an error. Okay. So no worries. We will see few more examples to understand this better. Right, and this was the theory. Okay, shall we proceed with the further discussion? Just type as in the chat box if we are good to go. Are we good to go? Everyone type as in the chat box to move this. Okay, did I get anything in the chat box? Okay, now you see, guys, you see, let me take the plain screen. Okay, so I want to take some class P. Inside this class P, I want to take public void M1. Okay, so System.out.println. Okay, I want to display something like P class method. So I am taking another class. This is class C, and this is C class method. Okay, I have taken two method. I have taken two classes here. Okay, and the class C is extending to right? Okay, so we have two classes. So till 1.4, please remember, till 1.4 you must check, okay, till Java 1.4. Nowadays we are using Java 1.8. I mean, all the real-time applications, all the applications and all the companies, they started using Java 1.8 version. So versions are something like a kind of an upgradation, So everywhere versions are there. Even when you want to use Facebook application, so Facebook keeps getting updated, WhatsApp keeps getting updated, right? Why it keeps getting updated? Because the latest version might be having a lot of features, lot of new features, which is very flexible to their customers. That's why they keep on updating. So they include each and every feature in the coming years, so that it will help us in some other ways, like you can utilize those application in an effective manner. So that's the reason why updates are happening, right? That's even for the Java language, they keep updating the language, so that new features, they introduce new syntaxes for the better flexibility, right? So what I'm trying to say is, till Java 1.4 version, okay, till Java 1.4 version, it is very imperative for you to recognize the overloading concept in such a way that, the parent class method name should be same. This both should be same. Remember, this return type should also be same. Both should be same. And the access modifier, of course, it should be same. Should match this code, right? Then you can call what? Then you can say that this method, okay, this method is called as overridden method, and this method is called as overriding method. Okay, now from now onwards we are going to discuss everything with respect to Java 1.5. So forget about Java 1.4. Forget about Java 1.4. We are going to discuss everything about the concept of overloading with respect to Java 1.5. Okay, sir, you have introduced Java 1.5. Very good, very good. Okay, then what you should focus on? The method overriding concept. Okay, the method name must be same even in Java 1.5. The method name must be same, right? Even the parameters, see, this part is what? Parameters. This part is called as parameters. You have option to pass parameters. Even the parameters must also be same, remember. Okay, if it is an empty parameter, if you don't find anything, if the parameter is empty, it should also be empty. If you are passing integer here, it should also be integer. Okay, so they should be same. But when you want to focus on the return type can be different. How it can be different? It can be different with respect to classes. Let me write it here once again. Okay. The return type can be different, but you have to ensure that there should be a direct parent-child relationship, and it should always be a class type. What type? Class type. Okay, having said this, when I remove this, okay, let me remove this, let me also remove this, okay, let me introduce a return type like, okay, when I say object here, okay, when I say and a string here, okay, object, I'm saying object and I'm saying string. Okay, so what is your duty? Your duty is to identify the rule number one is what? Method name must be same. What is the rule number two? The return type. Return type must be same, but there is a difference in the return type. Okay, no worries. Just understand, if this return type, if the string is child to object, yes, it is child to object, valid. If that is the case, this is valid. This is valid, and this is also, there is no violation in this access modifier also, right? But when you do the opposite, okay, when you place the object here and when you place the string here, okay, this string is actually a child to object, but you are interchanging the relationship. You cannot keep the parent in the child class as well as you cannot keep the child in the parent class. Return type. I'm talking about the return type. This is invalid. This is completely invalid. Okay? This is applicable only for the classes. So where is the proof? Let me take two classes, class P. Okay, I have class B and I have class C. Okay, let me make this really quick. System.out.println, right? P class, copy this, paste it here. What is it? Q class. Okay, we need main method, isn't it? So class test I am taking. Okay, public static void main, and we have what? We have string array args, right? So nothing. Let me keep it this simple. Okay. So I have three classes here. Only two classes are in a relationship. These two classes are in a relationship because of this extends keyword. Okay. And now I want to add a method, isn't it? Public string m1. Same method name I am taking. Right. This is also public object m1. Okay, method closer, method is closed, method is closed. Okay, same thing. Okay, I want to show you the proof. That's why I'm typing it in my typing it by myself. Test.java. Okay. Replace. Let me open command prompt. So whenever I use command prompt, the reason why I'm using command prompt means the compile time errors will be very clear in the command prompt. Okay, you will get to know what kind of error we are getting, whether the errors are coming from the compiler or from the JVM. That part will be very clear when you use command prompt. Okay, that's why I always recommend you to type the program in the notepad and execute it by using the command prompt. Okay, cd space java. Okay. Java C space test.java. So this is something, guys, not related to overloading. It says when thing is missing. Where is it missing? Not seeing anything is missing here. Class test. Opening, closing, opening, closing, opened. They have closed. Okay, why it is saying line number 6. Public object method 1. Hello.
Return statement.
Okay. Sorry, I should use return. Okay. Return null. Okay, you should return something. I missed the return statement because it is string type. Return Java. Okay, let me execute this. Java says okay. Java space test. Okay, we are able to execute it successfully because there is no error. Okay, because even though the return type that we are giving is a mismatch. Okay, return types are not same. In the parent class, the return type is object, and in the child class, the return type is string. Okay, but we are able to execute this because we are not getting any errors. We are not getting any errors in the runtime. It means valid. But when the moment I do the opposite, okay, the moment I do this, when this is object and when this is string type, okay, now we are going to get an error. So it is unacceptable because method in C cannot override M1 in P. return type object is not compatible with string. What is it really? Internal meaning is what? You cannot override a method. We cannot override a method. Okay, this method is trying to override this method. Okay, but there is a mismatch in the return. There is the return type relationship is not matching according to the overriding rules. Okay, that's why we are getting this error. Make sure that always the parent class return type should be the parent and the child class method return type should be the child. Okay, that's why we are getting error. That's why we are getting this kind of error. Okay, this is applicable only for the classes. Okay, so in future you can also think like this. Okay, what if I take int here? Okay, and what if I take character here? Okay, these are primitive types. These are actually what? These are actually primitive types. Okay, you don't have such rules with primitive data types. Okay, there are 8 primitive data types, right? You don't have such rules with primitive data types. When it is integer, this is supposed to be integer itself. When this is character, this is supposed to be character itself. When this is long, this is supposed to be long itself. You cannot manipulate the previous rule into this, right? So since it is an integer type, let me return something integer here. Since it is a character type, return something character here. Okay, when I run this code, okay, what I'm supposed to get now? Okay, compatible. You cannot do this. It is applicable only for the primitive, only for the class level data type, like object, like string buffer. In future, you're going to see a lot of predefined classes. It is applicable only for those data types, right? So let me do this. Okay, if the return type is P, okay, I want to return what? I want to return new parent. Return type is parent type itself. The class type P. Okay, and here the return type is C, child type itself. Okay, I want to return what? Return new. Okay, let me run this. I'm not getting error. Why I'm not getting error? Okay, why I'm not getting error here? Because okay, so this is matching. Okay, this one is matching. Okay, the method name is matching. This method name is also matching. Parent and child method names are same. Okay, when you see the return type, here I'm directly giving the return type as P. Okay, what is the P? P is of class type. Already we have class P. We have class P and we have class C, right? The class P is child to class, parent to class C. Okay, class C. Both are class P is a parent to class C. Okay, and on accordance with the return types of the child class method and the parent class method, it is also having the same pattern. Don't you think so? There is a method in the parent class of type P, and there is a method in the child class of type C. Okay, matching. So no issues. That's why we are not getting any. This is valid because this P type is parent to the C type. Yes or no? This P type is parent to the C type. Okay, but when you do the opposite, when I say opposite, okay, when you just interchange this, okay, when I just do the interchanging, okay, when I remove this, okay, and when I do the opposite, when I use P here and when I use C here, okay, so there is a violation here. Okay, you wanted to do the opposite, right? You are saying you are keeping the C return type method here and you are keeping the P return type method in the child class. Parent return type method in the child class and child return type method. So there is a violation. Okay, this is not matching. It's not at all matching. It's not at all equal. So that's why we will get an error. Where is the proof? Okay, when I say C here, return new C, P here, okay, return new P. See, incompatible types of it. Okay, so we are discussing everything from Java 1.5. from Java 1.5 version. This is how it is. Now the next question is, interviewer can ask you a question like, okay, if I use private here. So far we are good with the overloading concept on top of return types. Or no? So far we are good with the overriding concept on top of return type. Okay. So now we need to discuss about this access modifiers. What kind of modifications that you can perform with this access modifiers? So the parent class access modifier is public and the child class worst modifier is public. No issues. What happens? What really happens? Okay, let me remove all this. Okay, let us take a simple void M1. Let us also take a simple void of M1. Okay. Okay, now the access modifiers are different. Here it is private, here it is public. Okay, this is matching, no issues. Matching, no issues. Not matching. So this is private and this is public. Okay, when I run this code, the compiler will definitely, it is going to be unhappy, right? I mean, Java C space test.java space test. So nothing you are getting here. The output is empty. But when you try to create an object for the class C, now see what will happen. When you try to create, we think that okay, since this class C and this class P, they are in a parent and child relationship, we think that this method is overriding what? This method is overriding this particular method, right? But we will see is it really getting overridden or not. Okay, so for that, to test that, I want to do what? I want to create an object for class C, child class. Okay, with the child class, I want to get access to M1. So Java C space test.java space test. Okay, now we are getting Q class. Now we are getting output as Q class. No issues because directly we are getting access. Okay, now you see what if I create object for the class P. Class P obj equal to new class P. Now see what will happen. Obj.m1. So what we are getting? M1 has private access in P obj.m1. What does it really mean? Here no overriding is happening here. Okay, this is a private method. Strictly this method limited access only to this particular class. You cannot access this method outside the class. What I just did, I tried to create object for class P. So no, object has been created for class P. Okay, inside a different class, inside a test class, I am creating an object for the class P. Okay, object creation is possible. This is completely possible. You can create object for a different class from a different class. Next, what I am trying to do, I am trying to access a method. I am trying to do what? I am trying to access a method. I am trying to access a method that is of private in nature. You cannot do that because this private method are strictly made available only for the respective class. You cannot access this method outside the respective class. That's why we got this error. Okay, if I also do like this, if I also try to do the runtime polymorphism, okay, so this is called as runtime polymorphism because parent object child reference. Okay, it says M1 as a private in P. So actually overriding is not happening here, guys. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, these both methods are independent methods. Let me show it for you. Let me show it to you in the diagrammatical representation. Okay, this is our method. Okay. Okay. What is the concept of overloading? Okay, what is the rules? Both should match. Okay, this should be same. If not, there should be parent-child relationship. Okay, and this both should be same. But here we have two different cases. The parent method is private and the child class method is public. Okay, in this case, the overriding itself is not happening. These both methods are what? Completely independent methods. Okay, I don't see any overriding here. If overriding is really happening, okay, for this particular class, for this particular class, we should able to print this Q class in the console. Okay, let me take this as public instead of private. Let me take this as public. Okay, now the overriding is happening. How can I confirm that overriding is happening? Okay, when I try to access the method by using the reference of the runtime, new C. So the M1 method of C class needs to get executed. So Q class should get displayed in the console because overriding is happening, right? So Q class. Why Q class is coming in the console? Because the concept of overriding is achieved. Okay, the moment I give this as a private, there is no concept of overriding here. There is no concept of overriding here. Okay, it will try to this M1 method now, since there is no concept of overriding here, it will try to get access to this M1 method of the parent type. The parent type M1 method is strictly private, so that's why we are getting an error. By this I can conclude that overriding is not happening because of this, because private access modifiers are strictly for the particular class. You cannot use this private access modifier to achieve overriding. Okay sir, what if I give private here? What if I give private here? And again, there is no concept of overriding. Why no concept of overriding? This private method is strictly for class C. Okay, and this private method is strictly for class V. Okay, you cannot access any of these private methods by creating the respective reference. See, by creating object P obj equal new P, if I want to access M1 method, not possible guys. Why not possible? Private method. Okay, by creating object for class C, obj1 equal to new C. If I want to access the method of class C, which is M1, want to access M1, not possible guys. Why not possible? Private. No overriding is happening because both methods are private. Okay, can we conclude that if you use any one of the methods in a parent-child relationship as private, this overriding is possible? No, it is not possible. We get what? We get compile time error. Overriding will never happen with the private methods. That is my conclusion. Are you getting this? This is the first case of access modifiers. We have just started discussing about the access modifiers, and this is our first case. Remember, private method. Just keep in mind private method. Okay, one more question. The interviewer will ask you. Like, okay, you are saying that the private method are not possible. Okay, now see, now I am going to do small manipulation. I am keeping it as public. Okay, I want to keep this as public. Okay, we have already enjoyed learning about this final keyword. You remember or not? Final keyword. You remember? How many of you remember final keyword? Type S in the chat box. How many of you don't even know what is a final keyword? Type no in the chat box. Do you remember final keyword? One of the keywords that we have discussed in the variable concepts, Java variables. When I say final variable cannot be changed. It is strictly what? It is strictly final. If you assign a value to the final variable, as long as the program is running, the final variable will never be changed. It's final. Okay, this final keyword can also be applied to the methods, guys. Okay, what happens? See, the moment I apply final keyword to a method, okay, okay, you are strictly saying this method is final method. Never dare to override this method. You cannot override this final method. Where is the proof? In future, see, we are getting some error. Okay, error is what? M1 in C cannot override P1 because overridden method is final. Overridden method is final. What is the overridden method here? Is the overridden method final? You cannot override. Sometimes some parents are very strict nowadays. Okay, what they give whatever you want. They give whatever you want. Education, property. Okay, parents love their children a lot. Okay, they want to give whatever the children wants. Okay, they want to ensure that the life of their children, okay, should be in such a way that they should not suffer in their life. Okay, but when it comes to marriage, they will say, I will give whatever you want, but you should marry the guy that I am choosing or the girl that I am choosing. Okay, marriage is my decision. Marriage is parents' decision. Okay. Now child is saying, okay, let us change this method to marriage. Okay, child is trying to what? Trying to manipulate, convince the decision. Okay, child can convince it. Child can change this decision if there is no final keyword. If the parents are not straight, what child will do? Silently, child will say, okay, I want to marry a girl because I am in love with a girl. The child is opting for the love marriage. Okay, in this case, no issues. In this case, no issues. Let me put it in the paint screen for the better visibility. See the power of final keyword now. Okay, so when you write a logic in this way, okay, let me, it's not visible for you. Okay, let me move it up. Okay, so I have two classes. One is P class and the second one is what? Second one is C class. In these two classes, I have two methods. Okay, first question is you need to identify if these two methods are overriding. I mean, this method is an overriding method and this method is an overridden method, because the method name is same, marriage method, return type is same, access modifier is also same. So this method is overriding this. Okay, what parents decision? Parent says marriage is parent decision. Okay, but child says, okay, I want to override the parent decision. So child is overriding this implementation. So child wants to do the love marriage. Possible. This is completely possible. How it is possible? Successfully method is getting overridden. This marriage method of the child class is getting successfully overridden. So when you do overriding, okay, this will be given top priority. Yes or no? When I create object for class C obj equal to new C. Okay, and when I want to execute obj dot marriage method, okay, when you don't have this method, just imagine that when you don't have this method, obviously the control will go to what? 1 minute. Just imagine that you don't have this method. Okay, the control will directly go to the parent decision for the marriage. What you want to do, you do not want to listen to the parents' words. Okay, what you want to do, you want to override that implementation. Okay, you are trying to override that method because your parents are not straight. So you want to override the method. Okay, what you are doing, you are giving your own implementation. If I run this code, output is what? Love marriage, because method is successfully overridden. Okay, if I remove this code, there is no overriding concept, then you are agreed with arranged marriage. But if you don't like arranged marriage, you have an option to override this code. Love marriage. Okay, if your parents are straight, what they will do now, they will place a final keyword here. It means you cannot override the logic of the parent class method. When you do final, okay, there is no chance for you guys. There is no chance for you to do the overriding. You will get an error. You should stick to the parent's decision. That is the power of final keyword. So I have just explained in the real time analogy. Don't think that in application this marriage things will be there. Okay, I just want to understand the concept of overriding, the power of final keyword with respect to overriding. Okay, if there is any parent class implementation, if you don't like that, you can override. Okay, if there is restriction in such a way that you cannot override, then use final keyword. Are you getting this? What is the power of final keyword? Yes or no? Answer. Are we good with respect to final keyword, everyone? When you use final keyword, what does it mean? You cannot perform the overriding, guys. As simple as that. Right? Very, very powerful concept. Final cannot be overridden. Okay. Okay. Now you see. Now next question is, okay, I think did I execute this? Let me execute this. Final. Okay. Now Java C space test.java. Okay, int cannot be override in the parent void because overridden method is final. Okay, then you are very clever enough. You are also doing, okay, let me do final here. Even child is saying, I am also final with my decision. Parents are saying, I am final with the decision, do arrange marriage. Child is also saying, I am also final with my decision. I want to do love marriage only. Okay, now see, not possible, because violation is, I mean, restriction is already placed here. No matter what you do, even though if you keep final also, the first final is always final. Getting this? This is also going to fail. So the conclusion is final methods cannot be overridden. So with respect to variables, the final values cannot be changed. But with respect to Java methods, final methods are something that cannot be overwritten. Rule is strictly, what rule is strictly, rule should be strictly followed. Is there anyone on speaking, guys? Please mute yourself. Mute yourself, okay? Are you getting this? Rule is strict with respect to final keyword. Okay, I can include this in the notes. With respect to the final keyword. Okay, now next. Okay, now if it is non-final, if this is not final, if the parent class method is not a final one, and if the child class method is final one, okay, is it valid or not valid? Okay, this is the popular interview question. Okay, I can for our imagination, okay, for our imagination, I can use I think I can use this diagram. Okay, just imagine that. Sorry. Parent, what is it? Size has been decreased. Parent, child. Okay, so if the parent class method is final and if the child class method is what? Non-final, is it possible or not possible? Possible or not possible? Okay, definitely not possible. Right? Second case. Okay, if the parent class method is final, okay, and if the child class method is also final. Okay, final keyword should be in small letters, guys. Forgive my spelling. It should be in small letters. Okay, everything is case sensitive in Java. So this is also not possible. Final is always final. Okay, now my question is, if the parent class method is non-final, okay, and if the child class method is final, we will check whether this is possible or not possible. You understand my question? In these two cases are not possible. We will check this case also. Okay, so I want to change this to non-final, means you should not use the final keyword. Okay, in the child class I have used the final keyword. Okay, let us do what? Let us do the runtime polymorphism. P obj equal to new C. Obj dot Marraige method. Okay, let me run this. Possible, right? So final class, parent class method can be non-final, child class method it can be final. Interview question. You may get this kind of interview question. Just remember these diagrams. Okay, this is possible. We have no issues with this. Okay, child is saying final. Now child is saying a final. It means parent class non-final. It means it is also a kind of concept like parents has to agree with the child decision, right? So when the parent itself is final, the method of the parent class, the methods of the parent class is a final, then it means strictly it cannot be modified. The child class has to listen to the parent, strictly obey to the parent class methods. Okay, this is the three cases, and we have also certain class like in future you may see a method called the abstract method. Okay, abstract method. So our next topic is Java abstraction. Okay, before even understanding about the abstraction, I will tell you what is an abstract method. Okay, any method. Let me do this. Okay, let me remove this final keyword. Okay, when you have a method without body, when you have a method with body, it's a concrete method. With body and with logic is a concrete method. There are some cases you may have to work with a method without any body, without any implementation, and with the abstract keyword. Are you getting this? So we will discuss a lot about this in the next topic, abstraction. For now, try to understand what is an abstract method. Any method without a body is called as abstract method. So is this an abstract method? No, the method has a body. Is this an abstract method? Yes, because you are using abstract keyword and you are not giving any body, any implementation. The question is, can you override the abstract method? Okay, let me remove this. Just focus only two things here. Is this an abstract method? Yes, it is an abstract method. Why it is an abstract method? You need to check two things. One is there abstract keyword used? As it is used. Is there any body? There is no body. Body means remove the semicolon, and if you do this, this is a body. If there is no body, means this is no body. This method is called as abstract method. This is a future topic, not a future topic, the day after tomorrow's topic. So we will discuss about this tomorrow. My question with respect to overriding is, can you override the abstract method? Is it possible or not possible? Okay. Is it possible or not? Sometimes the parent class, there will be no implementation. They will give you an option. What they will give you? They say, you want to marry. You want to marry, but they say you want to marry, but you also want to do what? You can do your own decision. Decision is yours. You can do love marriage or you can do arranged marriage. But marriage should be there. Right? The moment you use abstract method in a class, that class should also be an abstract. Don't get any confusion. Very simple, guys. If we are just trying to understand what? We are just trying to understand. Can you override an abstract method in Java? Okay. So we were able to understand this. We were also able to understand this. We were also able to understand this. In this, the parent class method is abstract method. The child class method is what? The normal method. Or else I can say that the non-abstract method. Okay. When you have a method as abstract, the class should also be abstract. Okay. Let me run this code. We will get to the conclusion now. Okay. So the concept of abstraction is a topic of discussion in the future classes. So why we need to worry now? So we are not getting any error. So this is possible. You can override abstract method. You can override abstract method. What is an abstract method? Any method without any implementation is called as abstract method, and this is by using abstract keyword. Okay. So same thing, method name is same, return type is also same, okay, access modifier is also same. What is the only difference? Here you have abstract keyword, here you don't have abstract keyword. What is the question? Can you override abstract method? Yes, I can override abstract method. But what is an abstract method? That we will discuss in the future topic. Okay. This is valid. This is my conclusion. I want to conclude that this is also valid. Okay, in future, when you come across this topic, there will not be any confusion for you. Okay, so next question. Can you override? I mean, let me do the opposite here. Okay, this is class P. Okay, and I am taking the I want to place this here. I want to place this the opposite way. Okay, I have a class B. Inside the class I have a method. I have a class C. Inside class I have an abstract method. Whenever you have an abstract method in a class, inside a class, the class should also be an abstract. Why it should be abstract? That we will discuss in the future. My question is, can you override a non-abstract? Can abstract method override a non-abstract method? That is the question. Is it really possible? Okay, let us go back here. The last case. It's the last case. Okay. The top part is this one. Can you do the opposite? Very, very important question in the interview room. Trust me, you will be answering this in the interview room. Okay, the moment I start abstraction in the Java, this will make more sense. For now, the question is, can you do this? Is it possible? Okay, to understand this, let me run this code. you are not getting any compilation and any runtime error, obviously it is possible. Okay? This is also possible. Why this is possible? Okay, you will understand this. You will understand this completely in the next topic, which is abstraction. Okay? These are the five cases relevant to the special keywords. Special keywords like what? Final, non-final, abstract keywords. Right? So, is there any other cases that we can discuss? There are few more cases that we can also discuss, but for now, when I start doing the abstraction topic, okay, I will introduce the few more things that needs to be discussed. Okay, next cases. There are some cases with respect to access modifiers. Before even understanding about the concept of access modifiers with respect to method overriding, I want to memorize this chart. The scope level. Public is always greater. Has always greater visibility than protected. Okay, it is always greater than what? I mean, protected should be in what's lowercase. Every keyword in Java is in lowercase. Default. Okay, when you place nothing, that is going to be treated as default. The private. Okay, this is the chart that you have to remember. At any point of time, you should remember this chart. The scope. Okay, so this has more scope. Public has more visibility, higher visibility, very much higher scope. Protected a little lesser than public. Default a little lesser than protected. Private no scope. This is the scope level. Okay, what can we learn from the scope level? Okay, let us understand something about here. Okay, if the scope of the parent class, is public, and if the scope of child class is protected. Okay, if the scope of parent class is public and if the scope of child class is protected. Okay, what I am saying that just now I have said that scope should be same, but from Java 1.5 the scope can be different, but you should ensure it should satisfy some conditions. Okay, we are trying to discuss about these conditions. What I am just saying, the top level scope is public and the bottom level scope is what? Protected. If it is public, we have no issues. If it is protected, if it is public protected, we are reducing the visibility. We are reducing the visibility in the reverse direction. Okay, we are reducing the visibility. Can I reduce the visibility? Can I reduce the visibility in this direction? It's really possible. Can I reduce this? Can I go back? Okay, let us try to focus here. Okay, let me keep this example simple. Class P. Okay, public void Marraige. Instead of Marraige, let us keep it very simple. M1. Okay, P class. Okay, this is C class. Okay, so parent is public, and when I do protected. Okay, is it valid or it is not valid? Let me take as main to check if the right program is getting executed. Okay, this looks like valid. The parent is public, child is protected. Okay, let us see when I do the opposite. Let us see that the parent is protected and the child is public. One minute, there is something missing here. Okay, this should be method 1. Overriding is not applied. What I am thinking, why we are getting method return type is same, method name is same. Okay, now let's see. Public I am giving. Okay, public, no issues we are facing. Public, no issues. Okay, let us move this. So we are not facing any issues with the same access modifiers. We know these things already. Okay, let us test this. Let us keep public in the topmost method and protected in the child class method. Let us do these changes. Protected. Okay, so please memorize this error. What it says, attempting to assign weaker access privileges was public one error. Okay, instead of memorizing, I can convert this to the meaningful. I can just convert this to the meaningful explanation. What does it says? If it is public, you can keep public. You cannot reduce the visibility. Okay, public is possible. You cannot reduce the visibility. What does it mean? Look at this flow chart. Look at this diagram. Okay, both classes can have public. So this is public. Okay? If the topmost class is public, okay, and if the bottommost is protected, okay, you are going in this direction. Okay, see, let us. This is the direction, increasing the visibility. Okay, but what you are doing? You are decreasing the visibility, public to protected. The visibility is scope is getting reduced. Not possible, guys. You cannot come backwards. Topmost class public, bottom is protected. It means reducing the visibility in the reverse direction. You can increase the visibility, but if you do the reverse direction, you get an error. So this is invalid. If this is invalid, if I remove this, even if I remove default, okay, again it is also called as what? Decreasing the visibility. Don't you think so? Same thing. Okay, you are still weakening the visibility. You are still reducing the scope. Okay, topmost class is what? Topmost class is public. You cannot use protected in the bottom. You cannot use default. You cannot use private. Instead of writing like this, I can conclude like protected and default. When you do not use anything, that is going to be treated as default and private. These three things are invalid with respect to access modifier in the overriding concept. Okay. Now what if I do this? What if I use protected in the parent? What if I use protected in the parent, okay, and public in the child? Protected in the parent and public in the child. According to the logic that I have just explained, parent is protected. What is the child? Public. Look at the flow of direction, protected to public. It is matching the direction flow. Visibility is getting increased. You are increasing the visibility. The moment you increase the visibility, it is valid. This direction is valid with respect to parent child. But you cannot do the opposite. If you do the opposite, it is invalid. So according to this, do you think that this is going to be valid? When I use protected in the parent access modifier, remove this protected. Okay, in the child, when I use public, visibility is increased from protected to public. Okay, I should not be getting error. Executed. Okay, what does it mean? Protected, I can use protected. For the protected, the bottommost class can be protected as well as public. Protected, and I can also have what? I can also have, both are valid because we are increasing the visibility. Visibility can be same as protected, okay, or you can increase the visibility from parent to child. Okay, but if I decrease the visibility, decreasing in the sense, parent class method, parent class access modifier is protected, right? Protected, and when you do what? When you do the child class access modifier as default or private. This should be invalid, no? Why this should be invalid? This should be invalid. Why? Why? Because parent class is protected. Okay. Child class should be either protected or public. In this direction, it's valid. When you do the opposite direction, parent protected, child is default or private, you get error. You are reducing the visibility. What is the proof? Parent class is protected. When I remove public, obviously it is going to be treated as default thing, guys. Yes or no? Okay. See, we are getting an error, compile time error. Right? So if I do private also, I should be getting an error. Right? See, private. Right? Like this. Okay, the next case, if the parent class access modifier, okay, if the parent class access modifier, parent class, I mean method of the parent class access modifier is default. Default means nothing. Okay, the child class access modifier can be protected or public or default itself. These three cases are going to be valid. Yes or no? Because default, when you consider default, okay, from parent is default. Child can have default itself, or it can have protected, or it can have public, but it cannot have private. You cannot decrease the visibility. So these cases are going to be valid. Yes or no? These cases are completely valid. The invalid case is what? What is invalid case? Okay, only private. The topmost is default, and the bottommost is what? Private. I mean the parent. The parent method is default, and the child method is private, decreasing the visibility. Okay, this is called what? Decreasing the visibility. The opposite direction, this is invalid. Proof, where is the proof? Okay, so let me remove this. This treated as default. Okay, and I want to do what? I want to give default itself. It is supposed to be valid. You should get something in the console. Okay, apart from default, if I do protected, okay, it should be valid because visibility can be increased, but you cannot decrease it. It is valid. And if you do public, okay, it should be valid. Right? And if you do private in the sense, now you are decreasing the visibility, right? You should get an error. Weaker access, weaker privileges. Are we good so far? One more last case is there. After completing that case, we will conclude today. Are we good so far about the visibility? Exactly about visibility, right? You need to remember only. You need to memorize this. Just not a memorizing thing. Just remember this diagram. Okay, remember this. Remember the privileges diagram and remember the direction. You can play with this. Okay, you will be tested on top of the visibility, on top of the access modifiers, on top of the return types in the interview room. Everyone can say what is overriding, but only few people, are knowledgeable to say, this kind of answers, to answer this kind of questions. Right? The last, what's the last case? Last case is, don't think that I am saving a lot of space here. I do not want to use the new paint brush. I'm just utilizing this. If the parent is private, okay, the parent is private. So when the parent class itself is private method, it's a private method. Okay, the concept of overriding will not happen. The concept of overriding itself is not possible. So you don't speak about visibility here. When there is a private method in the parent class, Thank you for rejoining. I was saying that when there is a private method in the parent class, are we good to continue? My screen is visible. Okay. Okay. I was saying that when there is a private method in the parent class, okay, so there is no concept of overriding. Okay, whatever you keep in the child class, whatever the access modifier that you place for the child class methods, okay, the concept of overriding is not at all possible. So if you keep private also, even if you keep public also, and even if you keep what, you keep protected, even if you keep default, okay, no concept of overriding. Why no concept of overriding here? Because it's a private method, it is strictly applicable for the class itself. Okay, this is so. It's not possible. Okay, I will ask you one question now. Try to answer. Okay, I have class A. Okay, I have class B. Okay, instead of doing this, okay, now you answer me. Let me take some pillars. Tell me possible or not possible. Okay, so in the parent class it is public. Okay, in the child class it is default. Tell me first case one, possible or not possible. Case one. Public default, possible or not possible? Yes, no? You want the diagram? You want me to give the diagram? Okay, I will give you the diagram also. You need to tell me it is possible or not possible. Private default vector public is always bigger, protected is little smaller than public, default is little smaller than public. Okay, this is the direction. Okay, what was my question? Parent class is public. Parent class I have placed a public access modifier, and the child class I have placed a default. Okay, think parent class is public, child class is default. This is a violation, right? We are decreasing the visibility, so not possible. This is not possible. Agree? Not possible. Okay. Case 2. Case 2, parent class is default. Okay. Child class is public. Possible or not possible? Case 2. Come on. After these cases, possible or not? Possible. Possible because parent is default. Parent is default, right? Parent is default. What is the child? Child is public. Think from the parent. Default. Child is public. Look at the direction. Direction is matching, no? Possible. Okay. Now parent is protected. Okay. Child is default. Possible or not possible? Case 3. Case 3. Answer for case 3. Parent and child. Parent is protected, child is default. Possible or not possible? Case 3. Okay. So case 3 is what? Parent is default, no? The parent is protected, no? Protected. Keep the this box here, protected. What is the child? Child is default. Parent is protected, keep it here. What is your child? Child is default. Opposite direction, no. Violation. Opposite direction. Backward direction. You are decreasing the visibility further. Not possible. This is clearly not possible. Why you are taking so much of time? Huh? It's supposed to answer in answer just like that, no? Now the parent class is public, child class is private. Possible or not possible? Case 4. Come on, possible or not possible? Public, private. Any answers? Not possible. Good. This is not possible. Why not possible? Parent is public. Keep it here in the public. Okay. What is a child? Child is private. Is going back. No. Visibility is getting reduced. Backward direction. Definitely not possible. Right? Parent is private. Okay. Child is private. Good answer. Now the question is not possible, possibility or not possibility. Here the answer is even you cannot say possible. You cannot say possible. You also cannot say not possible because private access private methods, okay, are always private. You cannot achieve overriding with the private methods. They are part of the specific classes. They are part of the. Then what I should answer, sir? When the method is private, it means they are strictly private to the respective method. It cannot be called from outside of the class. When it is not called from outside of the class, the problem here is overriding concept is not possible. So this is the typical case where you will have to say that overriding is not possible with the private methods because they are strictly for the same classes. You cannot create object outside the class. So this is the typical case. One of the one of the confusing cases that may have come across. Do practice, you will get to know. Okay, the output will be like this. I mean, the comparative error will be like this. Weaker access privileges. What does it mean? Reducing the visibility. Just reducing the visibility. Then you are going in the opposite direction, you get that error. But when you are going in this direction, there will not be any error. Making sense? Everyone, remember this diagram. Very simple. Just remember this diagram. Remember this chart. Okay. Public has more visibility. Product has little visibility. Very less visibility. No visibility. That's it. And remember this arrow symbol. Any questions for me?